Hi everyone, I'm Sarah with University of Illinois Extension in the Madison Monroe St. Clair unit. Some of our favorite annual events we host are the local garden tours. This year we are going virtual. Master gardeners and Master Naturalist home gardens that were featured on previous tours have taken new photos and videos of their gardens in May and June. Garden tours are an opportunity to be inspired, discover new plants, and learn how to problem solve garden issues. In the virtual tour, we'll explore shade gardens, sun gardens, rain gardens, and constructing raised beds. Enjoy.
Well, we're building our raised beds, but we had all this rotten wood from before, so we're going to do something called aquaculture, where the bottom layer of the beds is filled with rotten wood and straw and stuff like that, and it'll break down, and eventually, over a period of years, it will nourish what's there, but it also keeps us from having to haul off old wood cut down or otherwise to the landfill. We use it here, and we don't have to put as much soil and compost into the beds. Since they're 18 inches, but that top foot will be nice and good. So this
can we use any type of wood with this?
You don't want to use cedar or pine because of the natural resins and their reluctance to break down, and you don't want to use timber that was treated with preservatives before, from 2004 and before, because that had arsenic in it.
Oh dear.
But the treated lumber after 2004 by law did not.
And then tell us about these blocks. I call them Lego blocks, but what do you call them? These blocks right here.
I think they're just called planter blocks. They're manufactured by Old Castle. They're available.
Old Castle.
Old Castle, yes. They're available at Lowe's. They're available at Home Depot. Ranges in price from $298 to $338 a block. And you're right, they're like Lego blocks, so you can form anything that's at right angles for the most part, or you can continue a long linear run.
And then is this reinforced with what, rebar?
In this instance, yes. Now the maximum height is 2 feet, so you can't go more than 4 blocks high. We got 3 blocks high, and I'm using, you could use 3/8, but this is 1/2 inch rebar. These are just 2 feet tall, so they've essentially got a good just under a foot pounded into the ground, and then it just kind of helps keep things more stable over the long haul.
Okay, and then what we're walking on, this matting, where did we get this matting to keep the weeds out?
This is available from, well, lots of places. It's the same type of woven matting that's used in commercial nurseries to preclude weeds from coming up. It's porous to water though.
Okay.
So you can just lay it down and walk on it in row crops, or in areas where, like in nurseries, where you see they've got this down over the earth, but they've got plants on top of it because the water will penetrate. Or you can cover it with
we have gravel.
Mulch, or not mulch. Yes, mulch you could. Or in our case, we're going to put the rocks that we had before,
the gravel,
back on top of it. Yes.
Yeah, the birds. So something we've done is we love our Japanese maples. So we have about 5 here in our morning area. Little water fountain there. We also added conifers. This is called a black spruce. Doesn't get much bigger than this, which is perfect. That's the oak tree that David brought home instead of a chicken. This is called a twisty baby. We have to keep this trimmed because when the branches become heavy and we are in a windy area, they tend to break. So we've got to keep a lot of room between the branches, and it is we find it interesting. Then there's the pond that we do not own. That belongs to the people behind us. And then as you can see, my irises are just looking gorgeous. There's the new vegetable garden. And the irises go all the way down to the patio, which we haven't quite finished yet.
So this is our rain garden number 1. It's about 20 feet long by about 10 feet wide and probably about a foot to a foot and a half deep. It contains an awful lot of water that flows from not only our yard but also our neighbor's yard. As you can see, as we pan slowly around toward our house, that this is the low spot in the yard. So all of the rain from the house through the gutter system is directed down to this particular rain garden. located right at the spot that you're looking at right now. And not only does it take the rain from our house, but it also takes the flow from our neighbor's yard, which is considerably higher than ours. Without it, there would have been a very large, or actually was a very large rut forming in the backyard. So this is another view of the same rain garden number 1. We have lots of plants that absolutely love having their toes in nice moist or even wet soil. It never overflows, and it does keep the dirt from being dragged away into other ruts. We added a small flow for another part of our yard, and you can see that there is a dry creek bed that we have created between this and the next rain garden down the way, because we discovered that when there's a frog choker, we had overflow from one and it was causing a rut in the second. So we built the second one to ensure that we had control of the water as it flowed off. And again, you can see that this is much lower by about a good 3 feet from the earlier part of the head of the rain garden. And you can get an idea for how much higher the neighbor's property is than ours. And here's a shot of that dry creek bed that between the outflow from the upper rain garden number 1, goes underneath this small pathway which has a pipe underneath it and deposits itself down in rain garden number 2. Lots of sedges, very happy in there, and lots of other swamp milkweed and other things that love to have wet feet. And this is a shot at the bottom of rain garden number 2. You can see that we have an awful lot of plants in there that are quite happy. We have an overflow area for when it does get a frog choker, and a dry creek bed that takes the water all the way down to another area down at the end of our property where it slowly dissipates down into a small gully. And this is a view of what we call rain garden number 3. We got rid of all the runoff from one part of the property, but then we had all the runoff from the other part of the house, and it was again creating a rut on this very steep property. So we created a small rain garden here. You can see lots of plants again that absolutely love moisture, including the blue iris, which is a native iris. And you can see the steepness of the runoff.